Happy summer vacation, Yu-Gi-Oh scholars! I hope you finish your school year on a high note. We are really after school now. Class is officially over and we have all summer to play Yu-Gi-Oh! To kick the season off, I have a fun and cheap deck for you to try. I don't know about you, but I love sports. Well, watching, not playing. I'm not very good at playing sports, no matter how long I practice or how loud my dad yells at me. But still, it's nice to give your brain a break and really test your body and your instincts. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is usually full of sitting still and thinking, but they've finally given us a deck that's less thinking and more active and instinctual. Have you guessed what deck I'm talking about? That's right, it's UA, or Ultra Athletes. UA is another TCG-exclusive deck that premiered in Duelist Alliance. It is a monster-heavy control deck that relies on a tribute summon, similar to Monarchs. Like the name suggests, the deck is centered around different kinds of athletes. Let's take a close look at the team. The UA monsters are all Earth Warriors that vary from levels 4 to 8. They all share the same effect. You can special summon a UA monster from your hand by returning a different UA monster from the field. Think of it like a substitution in sports. Make a note that this is an inherent summon, so you have to activate cards like Max U prematurely, and you can only special each monster once per turn. All the monsters also have a secondary effect, which are either offensive or defensive. The offensive monsters have huge attacks, and the defensive monsters have big booties. Let's break it down by sports. The offensive monsters will be on the left, and the defenders will be on the right. First is soccer, or football if you're not American and you actually watch soccer. Midfielder is your playmaker. He is a Rhoda target and he's the only UA monster that can be normal summoned, so he's very important because he gets your engine going. His secondary effect lets you tag out another UA monster during either player's turn. This effect can be useful if you want to tag out and make another attack. Goalkeeper allows you to protect a UA monster from being destroyed. She will most likely be protecting herself. For American football, the sport they don't play anywhere else except America, we have Playmaker, who can reduce its attack by 800 to pass it off to another UA monster. And Blockbuster is like a lose one turn when your opponent special summons a monster. Next, we have baseball. Sorry, I don't know any famous baseball players, but Mighty Slugger is an Armades, and he's probably the most common monster you'll see for offense. Perfect Ace is a solemn judgment by discarding a card. And finally, for basketball, Dreadnought Dunker does piercing damage, and when it inflicts damage, it can pop a card. If Rival Rebounder is normal summoned on your turn or special summoned on your opponent's turn, you can special summon a UA from your hand or grave. That's it for the players. Let's take a look at their gear. There are 4 spells and 1 trap card in the UA deck. I'll quickly go over them one by one. Stadium is like Whirlwind, and it's your win condition. You can also get a 500 attack boost when you tag in a UA monster. Power Jersey is one of the best equipped cards in the game, and it's imperative to the OTK. You gain 1000 attack and defense, and you get a BLS effect. You can't just sit on a monster with Power Jersey, because it gets banished at the standby phase. But that's okay, because whenever you tag out, Power Jersey returns to your hand as well. Signing Deal is like Emergency Teleport. You can special summon a UA monster from your deck. Its effects are negated, but it's fine because you can always tag out and back in. Not too many builds will be playing Turnover Tactics, but it can be a very powerful out to problem monsters. It's similar to Morphing Jar 2. If you control 2 or more UA monsters, shuffle all monsters on the field into the deck. Then, each player special summons as many monsters from their deck as they shuffle back in. This is ideal for getting rid of extra deck monsters or boss monsters that are hard to bring out. And if you're going to run any traps in your build, you may want to consider UA Penalty Box. It's a continuous D prison once per turn, and if your opponent decides to waste an MST on it, you can banish it from the grave to search for a UA trap card. That will do it for the UA starting players, but you can't play UA on its own. The team wouldn't be anything without their Benchwarmers and Waterboys. After all, these guys are part of the team too. Photon Thrasher and Spell Striker are Rhoda targets, and they make great tribute fodder for the bigger UA monsters. Decree turns off all trap cards and allows you to score without worrying about defense. And Kaiser Coliseum hardens your helmet by simplifying the game into 2 sumo wrestlers trying to push each other off the field. So now that you guys have learned the deck, let's take a look at the UAs in action. Here's an ideal hand for UA. Of course, you can also use Rhoda and Terraforming to search out the stadium and midfielder. The third card can be any of the other UA big guys. Activate the field spell and summon midfielder. This will allow you to search for another UA monster. If you already have a defensive player, search for the offense, and vice versa. Tag out the midfielder and tag in the Mighty Slugger. Attack without fear. Main phase 2, tag out the Slugger and tag in the goalkeeper in defense. set whatever traps you have, and end your turn. Goalkeeper will most likely survive the next turn thanks to his effect, and you are ready to repeat the process next turn. As you can see, UA can be pretty tough to deal with once they get their engine going, but don't worry, you can quickly shift the momentum of the game with just a few key cards. The UA deck depends on tagging in and out, so the only time you can hit them is during their main phases. Your 1-ofs should do the trick. I know 1-ofs can be inconsistent, so the best time to use them is during their normal summon. Vanities and Degenerate Circuit should stop them from summoning altogether. Removing the offensive players from the game will prevent them from OTKing and buy you a few turns to draw into your combo cards, but the best way to shut down UAs is by stopping their pluses altogether. When using MST, this is your order of importance: Stadium, Powered Jersey, Kaiser Coliseum, and Royal Decree. Mistake will keep their hands dead and cloggy. And lastly, Breakthrough Skill and Skill Drain will leave them weakened and vulnerable. In case you missed any of the action, here's an instant replay. UA is a quick OTK deck that is tough to stop. Due to their effects and high stats, they create a strong board presence that makes it frustrating to play against. It is a fun, simple, and very easy to build deck since they are mostly commons and rares. A great deck to get your non-Yu-Gi-Oh friends to try. Maybe you can ask that football player you've been tutoring for 2 years. But what the deck has in strength and control, it lacks in consistency. The engine is easily broken by staple spells and trap cards that everyone owns and runs in their main deck. Now that summer has started and the competitive season is coming to an end, I'll probably build this deck from all the loose commons I've collected, and play the deck for fun. Maybe I can get a few of my non-Yu-Gi-Oh friends to try this deck out too. I hope you've learned something from this episode of After School Yu-Gi-Oh! Be sure to share it with all your friends so they can learn the power of UAs too. Thanks for watching, and happy summer vacation!
Hey YouTube, it's Dennis here. I hope you guys liked this week's After School Yu-Gi-Oh! That David made. Speaking about David, he actually has a new channel, which I'll put the link down below. The channel name is P Darkfiend, which is PDF for short. He'll still be uploading on this channel, just his channel will be more focused on education and more towards the new players. I'm actually really excited for his new channel. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. We finally got the budget for his classroom, and we just need you guys to fill up those seats. Alright, later YouTube, and see you guys in the next video.